You know that feeling, right? When what you're supposed to do feels completely wrong? Like it goes against everything you believe in. A moment where doing the right thing feels like this impossible crushing weight, and all you really want to do is just walk away? Well, that deeply human crisis, it's the exact problem at the very heart of one of the world's most incredible spiritual conversations. So, today we're diving into a central showdown from the Bhagavad Gita. The choice between two different paths to liberation. On one side, you've got the path of pure knowledge, of just understanding the true nature of reality. And on the other, you have the path of dedicated action, of just doing your duty. The big question is, which one is actually better? And trust me, the answer might not be what you think. All right, so here's our game plan. We're going to start with the intense crisis of the warrior Arjuna. Then we'll look at Krishna's first piece of advice, the path of knowledge, before we check out his second, the path of action. That's all going to lead up to the big verdict on which path is superior, and we'll wrap it all up with what this ancient wisdom can mean for us today. Okay, so picture this. We're on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Two massive armies are ready to go to war. The legendary warrior Arjuna asks his charioteer, who, plot twist, is actually Lord Krishna in disguise, to drive him right into the middle of the two armies. And as he looks at the enemy line, he doesn't just see soldiers. He sees his own family, his teachers, his cousins, his friends, and in that one moment, he just completely falls apart. And his despair is so physical. This isn't just some philosophical debate for him. He is feeling this in his bones. His legs get weak, his mouth goes completely dry, his whole body starts to shake. It's a full-on, visceral rejection of the duty that's staring him in the face. The depth of this crisis is just staggering. I mean, Arjuna is a world-renowned archer. That bow, the Gandiva, it's like an extension of his own arm, a part of who he is. For it to just slip from his hand, that symbolizes him losing his entire identity as a warrior. His mind's a mess, and he's totally paralyzed by grief. Look, Arjuna's breakdown isn't about being afraid of the fight. It's about a deep moral horror. He's questioning the whole point of the war. What good is winning a kingdom, he asks, if you have to build it on the bodies of the people you love? When he looks at his duty, all he sees is sin and a whole lot of sorrow. Now, Krishna's response isn't just a simple, hey, toughen up, man. No. Instead, he offers this incredibly profound philosophical lesson. He introduces Arjuna to something called Sankhya Yoga, the path of knowledge, a way of life that's all about understanding the true nature of reality. Krishna's first point is a total game changer. He basically tells Arjuna he's grieving for the wrong thing. He explains that the physical bodies of his family, they're just temporary shells. Their true self, the Atman, or the soul, well, that's eternal. It can't be destroyed. And to really make it clear, Krishna breaks down the qualities of the soul. It's beyond birth and death, it's totally indestructible, you can't cut it with a weapon, you can't burn it with fire. By explaining this, Krishna's trying to shift Arjuna's whole perspective from this temporary physical world to an eternal spiritual one. The bottom line, you can't really kill anyone. And this has to be one of the most powerful metaphors in the entire Gita. It makes this huge abstract idea of reincarnation so simple. Death isn't the end, see? It's just a change of clothes for the immortal soul. Our bodies are like old, worn-out shirts. The soul that wears them just moves on to a new one. But, after this really deep philosophical dive, Krishna kind of shifts gears. It's like he senses that Arjuna needs something a little more practical for the mess he's in right now. So he introduces the path of action, which we call Karma Yoga. And the subtlety here is everything. Karma Yoga isn't about just gritting your teeth and doing your job. It's about a complete transformation of why you act and how you act. It's a spiritual practice you can do right in the middle of your messy, everyday life. So how does it actually work? Well, Krishna lays out a pretty clear process. First, you perform your unique duty, your swadharma. For Arjuna, that's being a warrior. Second, and this is the absolute key, you have to act without being attached to the results. You don't fight to win, and you don't worry about losing. You just act because it's your duty to act. Do that, and you reach the final step, attaining the supreme. This idea of svadharma, one's own duty, is so important. Krishna tells Arjuna it's way better to do his own job as a warrior, even if he does it imperfectly, than to try and perfectly do the job of a monk or a scholar. Being true to your own nature, that's what really counts. So, this brings us right to the core of it all. We have two powerful paths on the table: Sankhya, the path of knowledge and backing away from the world, and Karma, the path of selfless action, right in the thick of it. So, which one does Krishna say is the winner for Arjuna, and by extension, for us? Let's just put the question right out there. Is it more spiritual to withdraw from all the world's messy problems and seek wisdom and solitude? Or can you actually find liberation right here, in the middle of all the action, just by changing your inner game? And right here is the crucial difference. The path of knowledge, Sankhya, is all about renouncing actions themselves. But the path of action, Karma, is about renouncing the fruits of your actions, the results. See the difference? For a guy like Arjuna, who's living a very engaged, active life, trying to renounce all action is just not practical. But renouncing his attachment to the outcome, now that's something he can do, even on a battlefield. And Krishna's verdict for Arjuna? Oh, it is crystal clear. He doesn't say, go meditate in a cave. He says, do your duty, fight, but do it without attachment. That is the supreme instruction. For Arjuna, and for most of us, the path of action is laid out as the more direct, more effective way to go. Okay, so how in the world does this ancient wisdom apply to us today? What's the real core message we can pull from this incredible battlefield dialogue? At its heart, the Gita is really a call to engage with life courageously. It teaches us that spirituality isn't about escaping life's problems. It's about totally transforming your relationship to them, finding freedom and peace not by avoiding action, but by purifying the reason you act in the first place. So, what's the bottom line for us? Well, first, our responsibilities, our Dharma, they matter. Second, real freedom doesn't come from running away. It comes from letting go of our obsession with the results. Third, you can find peace right here, right now, by focusing on the work itself, not the reward. This isn't just some ancient philosophy. It's a practical guide for a meaningful life, whether you're building a business, raising a family, or creating art. And that leaves us with a final thought to mull over. Whether you're a student, an artist, a parent, or a CEO, we all have our own battlefield of duty. So the question becomes, in your own life, facing your own unique challenges, what does it truly look like to act with your whole heart without being a prisoner to the outcome?